Chosen one, listen carefully. This message you about to hear was never meant for the sleeping masses. This is not motivation. This is remembrance. And if you feel a tightening in your chest right now, it is because your soul already knows. The moment you crossed the line, you did not mean to break anything. You were simply trying to survive. You spoke a truth others were afraid to hear. In that moment, something shifted, not on earth but beyond it. A rule written before your birth was challenged. Not because you rebelled, but because you awakened. Heaven was not angry, it was shocked. Why this message found you? Millions will scroll past this, but you stopped. That alone tells the story. You are sensitive to unseen signals. You feel meaning where others feel noise. This message activates memory, not belief. You are remembering who you were before the world named you. What it really means to be chosen. Chosen does not mean favored. It means burdened with awareness. You see patterns early. You feel consequences before they arrive. While others follow rules, you question why they exist. That curiosity is not rebellion, it is assignment. The divine rule you broke. The rule was silence. You were never supposed to speak your knowing. You were meant to blend in, to obey without asking. But your spirit refused containment. The moment you honored truth over comfort, the rule shattered. Why heaven reshaped? Systems depend on predictability. You became unpredictable. Not chaotic awake. Awakening disrupts hierarchies built on fear. That is why everything accelerated after you changed. The signs you were different as a child. You questioned authority early. You felt older than your age. You sensed when adults were lying. Crowds drained you. Solitude restored you. That was not weakness, it was perception. Why your life felt unnecessarily hard. You were trained through pressure. Comfort would have dulled your edge. Every delay refined your discernment. Nothing was wasted. The weight you carry in silence. You feel responsible for things you cannot explain. You absorb emotions not your own. You walk with an invisible gravity. That weight is awareness. Why society tries to quiet you. Awakened individuals expose false structures by existing. Your presence questions systems without words. That makes institutions uncomfortable. So they label you too intense, too sensitive, too much. The moment everything started, collapsing. After you chose truth, things fell apart fast. Relationships ended, paths closed. It felt like punishment. It was repositioning. Why you felt isolated after awakening. You outgrew conversations that revolved around fear. Small talk became exhausting. You could no longer pretend. Isolation became initiation. The internal war you never spoke about. Part of you wanted peace, another demanded purpose. You tried to return to sleep. But once seen, truth cannot be unseen. That tension forged strength. Why you attract strong reactions. People either open or resist around you. There is rarely neutral. Your energy activates unresolved truth in others. That is not your fault. The fear you felt was not your own. When you stepped forward, old systems trembled. Fear traveled through you, not from you. You mistook resistance for danger. It was confirmation. What heaven is really doing now. Not punishing, not chasing. Recalibrating. You altered a path that affects many. Adjustment was inevitable. Why you could not turn back. Even when you tried, something pulled you forward. Old versions felt suffocating. Comfort became unbearable. That is destiny refusing delay. The role you were born into. You are a bridge between seen and unseen. You translate through presence. You awaken without preaching. Your life is the message. Why time feels strange for you. You sense urgency without dates. You feel late and early at once. Linear time bends around awareness. You operate beyond clocks. The price of seeing clearly. Clarity costs belonging. Truth costs approval. But it gives alignment. And alignment gives power. Why this message feels personal. It is not coincidence, it is resonance. You did not find this found you. Awakening recognizes itself. Across any distance. The strength you underestimate. You survived confusion without guidance. You chose integrity without applause. You kept going without certainty. That is real power. What happens if you hide again? Nothing external will punish you. But your soul will contract. Restlessness will return. You are not built for retreat. What happens if you step fully in? Resistance intensifies, then dissolves. Clarity sharpens, support appears. Your voice steadies, and others awaken quietly around you. Why this era needs you. Old systems are cracking. Truth is rising through unlikely people. You are positioned, not random. Timing chose you. The courage you are being asked for. Not loudness, consistency. Not perfection, honesty. Not dominance, presence. That is enough. The lie you must release. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are precisely placed. The future you are walking into. It will not look normal. It will feel aligned. Peace will replace confusion. Purpose will replace pressure. Your final reminder. You did not break divine order. You exposed a deeper one. Heaven is not in chaos. It is adjusting to your awakening. If this spoke what you never said, honor it. Do not shrink back into silence. Like this video so this message reaches others like you. Comment what you felt, not what you think. Subscribe to return to awakening and walk this path with those who remember. What shifted inside you after the break? After that moment, you noticed you could no longer lie to yourself. Even small compromises felt heavy. Your intuition sharpened, sometimes painfully. This was the cost of alignment beginning to settle in. Why old desires lost their power. Things that once excited you felt hollow. Validation stopped feeding you. You craved meaning over attention. That hunger was not emptiness, it was refinement. The invisible watchers you sense. At times you feel observed, not judged. Guided, not controlled. Awareness brings supervision. Not to limit you, but to protect the path you altered. Why your dreams became intense. Your subconscious opened first. Symbols replaced stories. Messages arrived without language. Dreams became training grounds for the waking mind. The reason random truths escape your mouth. You say things without planning them. They land deeper than intended. People remember your words years later. That is not accident, that is transmission. Why you feel older than time. Your reactions are measured. Your patience feels ancient. You have lived many inner lives. Time recognizes you differently. The moment you realized you could not unsee. There was a specific instant. A sentence, a loss, a realization. After that, pretending felt impossible. Awakening always has a point of no return. Why chaos? FOLLOWD your clarity. When inner truth stabilizes, outer illusion collapses. Structures built on false alignment cannot stand. Chaos is not failure. It is exposure. The loneliness that taught you discernment. Being alone forced you inward. Silence became teacher. You learned to trust your inner signal. That skill will guide others later. Why your empathy feels heavy. You feel pain before it is spoken. You sense shifts before announcements. Boundaries became necessary. Sensitivity is power when disciplined. The misunderstanding that follows you. People project onto what they do not understand. They sense depth and fill it with fear. You are not required to explain yourself. Clarity does not need permission. Why you were tested in secret. Public trials build image, private trials build truth. Your hardest moments had no witnesses. That forged integrity. Heaven trusts those shaped in silence. The moment you stopped asking for signs, you realized you were the sign. Synchronicity followed your steps. Guidance came after action. Faith matured into knowing. Why your energy shifts rooms. Conversations slow or sharpen around you. Tension rises or dissolves. Truth has weight. Your presence carries it. The inner authority you are claiming. You no longer outsource decisions. Advice is filtered, not followed blindly. You listen inward first. That is sovereignty awakening. Why fear lost its hold. You still feel it, but it no longer controls you. Fear became information. Courage became practice. The responsibility that comes with awareness. You see consequences before choices. You move with intention. Your actions ripple wider than most. That is why you must stay conscious. Why you keep RETORNING to purpose. Distraction never lasts. Comfort never satisfies. Something keeps pulling you back. Purpose recognizes its owner. The quiet confidence forming now. You do not announce growth. You embody it. Certainty replaces urgency. Stillness becomes strength. What you are being prepared for. Not a title, not a crown. Impact through authenticity. Leadership through alignment. Service through truth. Why this path feels narrow. Few can walk without applause. Fewer can lead without control. The path narrows to refine intention. Width returns later. The trust you are learning. Not in outcomes. In alignment. In the unseen order responding to honesty. That trust steadies you. Why you no longer chase answers. You allow them. They arrive when needed. Patience replaces desperation. That is maturity of spirit. The strength that emerges after surrender. Not giving up. Letting go of resistance. Flow replaces force. Progress accelerates quietly. What you are becoming a signal for. Others feel permission around you. They question their own limits. Awakening spreads without words. That is legacy forming, the calm that confused others. People expected urgency from you. Instead, you became grounded. Silence replaced explanation. That calm unsettled those who thrive on chaos. Why you stopped defending yourself. You realize truth does not argue. Explanations drain your energy. Those meant to understand already did. Peace became more valuable than being right. The discipline forming in your thoughts. You monitor what enters your mind. Not out of fear but respect. Awareness demands cleanliness. Your thoughts shape realities faster now. Why certain doors closed without warning. They were tied to old identities. Access required shrinking. When you refused, they sealed themselves. Protection often looks like loss. The shift in how you experience pain. Pain no longer breaks you. It instructs you. You listen instead of resisting. Lessons short when received willingly. Why you notice patterns others miss. You read between events. You sense alignment and distortion. Details speak loudly to you. Pattern recognition is awakened intelligence. The moment you realize power is quiet. Loudness lost its appeal. Control felt unnecessary. Influence emerged naturally. True power does not announce itself. Why you no longer envy anyone. You understand timing now. Paths are customized. Comparison dissolves when purpose clarifies. You honor others without abandoning yourself. The inner cleaning you did not plan for. Old grudges surfaced. Unhealed memories returned. You faced them honestly. Release followed courage. Why you became unavailable to chaos. Drama requires participation. You withdrew consent. Peace demanded boundaries. Your absence spoke louder than arguments. The way your values, RURDRED. Integrity rose to the top. Truth outweighed comfort. Consistency mattered more than speed. Your compass recalibrated. Why you feel called to serve without title. Recognition no longer motivates you. Impact does. You move quietly, effectively. Service became identity, not role. The test of humility you keep passing. Awareness did not inflate you. It softened you. You stayed teachable. That preserved clarity. Why certain people can no longer stay. They resonate with who you were, not who you are becoming. Separation is alignment in motion. No resentment is required. The sensitivity that turned into strength. What once overwhelmed you now guides you. You learned regulation. You learned discernment. Sensitivity matured into wisdom. Why you move slower but arrive stronger. You no longer rush decisions. You observe first. Precision replaced impulse. Results became sustainable. The inner stillness you protect. You guard your mornings. You guard your silence. Stillness became strategy. From it clarity flows. Why you trust process over PRMSES. Words are easy. Alignment proves itself. You wait for consistency. Discernment sharpened through experience. The respect you gain without demanding it. You stopped seeking approval. Presence commanded it naturally. People feel your boundaries. Self-respect teaches others how to treat you. Why you no longer fear being misunderstood. Understanding is not your assignment. Alignment is. Those meant to walk with you will recognize truth. The rest will pass by. The responsibility of walking ahead. You feel ahead without arrogance. You pause so others can catch up. Leadership through patience. Guidance through example. Why your faith feels internal now. Not loud, not performative. Rooted. You trust without spectacle. Certainty does not need noise. The balance you are learning. Between effort and surrender. Between discipline and compassion. You adjust without guilt. Balance sustains awakening. What your silence is accomplishing. It invites reflection. It creates space. It speaks safety. Silence became communication. Why this journey continues UNFOLDING. Awakening is not a moment. It is a practice. Each layer reveals the next. You are still moving forward, the detachment that scared people. You stopped reacting the way they expected. Emotional hooks no longer worked. You observed instead of absorbing. Detachment was not coldness, it was clarity. Why you no longer explain your vision. Words diluted what you see. Not everyone has the lens to receive it. You learned discernment in sharing. Silence preserved the integrity of your insight. The internal upgrade you felt physically. Your body responded before your mind did. Sleep patterns shifted, appetite changed. Energy surged and dipped unpredictably. Awakening moves through flesh, not just thought. Why certain truths made you uncomfortable. They required responsibility. Awareness removes excuses. You could no longer blame circumstance. Power demands ownership. The moment you realized you were being shaped. Events aligned too precisely to be random. Lessons repeated until integrated. Resistance only prolonged them. Surrender accelerated growth. Why you attract seekers without trying. People sense safety in your presence. Not answers, but permission. They open up unexpectedly. Your listening heals more than advice. The reason you questioned everything again. Old beliefs collapsed under new awareness. You rebuilt slowly, intentionally. Truth earned its place. Faith matured through examination. Why your compass is internal now. External validation lost authority. You feel alignment instantly. Discomfort signals misdirection. Peace confirms truth. The grief that came with awakening. You mourned who you used to be. You mourned who others expected. Grief honored transformation. Release made room for expansion. Why you became selective with energy. Time revealed its value. Attention became currency. You invested wisely. Boundaries protected purpose. The strength of walking without witnesses. No applause marked your progress. No crowd validated your steps. You continued anyway. That forged unshakable self-trust. Why you feel called to simplicity. Complexity exhausted you. Truth refined your life. Less noise, more meaning. Simplicity became sacred. The moment you stopped seeking approval. Acceptance from others felt irrelevant. Alignment felt essential. You chose authenticity over agreement. Freedom followed honesty. Why your intuition speaks louder now. You stopped doubting it. Practice strengthened trust. Signals became unmistakable. Inner guidance sharpened with use. The patience you never had before. Urgency faded. You allowed timing to unfold. You moved when aligned. Results carried less resistance. Why you no longer fear loss. You survived what you thought you could not. Attachment loosened. Trust deepened. Loss became transition, not threat. The way you handle conflict now. You listen more than react. You respond, not retaliate. Peace guides resolution. Maturity replaced impulse. Why you see through ILUSONS quickly. You recognize patterns of manipulation. You sense misalignment instantly. Truth feels familiar now. Deception cannot stay hidden long. The self-respect that quietly grew. You honored your limits. You kept your word to yourself. Confidence stabilized. Self-respect became foundation. Why you no longer need to prove anything. Your existence is enough. Your path is valid. You walk without comparison. Certainty replaced performance. The stillness that precedes the next phase. Movement paused intentionally. Integration required space. Silence prepared capacity. Expansion follows stillness. Why you trust what is UNFOLDING. Control relaxed its grip. Faith became experiential. You witnessed alignment repeatedly. Trust became live knowledge. The readiness you feel without DTLS. You sense approach without timeline. Preparation feels internal. Fear does not dominate. You are ready without rushing. Why this journey has not peaked yet. Awakening evolves in layers. Each level reveals deeper responsibility. Completion is not the goal. Embodiment is still in motion, the quiet separation from who you once were. You did not announce the change. It happened internally, layer by layer. Old reactions dissolved without effort. Identity shifted without permission. Why you no longer argue with reality. Resistance exhausted you. Acceptance clarified everything. You learned to move with what is. Energy returned when you stopped fighting truth. The sense of being led without commands. No voice, no orders. Just an inner pull. You follow alignment, not instruction. Guidance feels natural now. Why your STNDRDS rose silently. You expect honesty. You value consistency. You walk away from misalignment without drama. Standards became self-respect in action. The moment you realized you were never lost. Every detour taught precision. Every delay built discernment. Confusion shaped clarity. The path always knew you. Why you feel heavy around crowds. Noise blurs awareness. Surface conversations drain depth. You were built for resonance, not volume. Solitude recharges your signal. The inner order you started living by. Not rules but principles. Truth before comfort. Alignment before approval. This order keeps you steady. Why you no longer feed old fears. You stopped rehearsing worst outcomes. Attention shifted to presence. Fear weakened without fuel. Awareness starved it. The subtle confidence you carry now. You do not rush to speak. You wait for alignment. Your timing improved. Presence replaced urgency. Why you move differently through DCSONS. You feel outcomes before choosing. Your body confirms truth. Logic follows intuition. Decision-making became embodied. The release of needing to be understood. Misinterpretation stopped hurting. You stopped correcting narratives. Truth stands on its own. Peace replaced explanation. Why you attract moments of deep silence. Conversations pause around you. People reflect unexpectedly. Your energy invites stillness. Stillness invites truth. The strength you built by waiting. Patience taught mastery. Timing revealed strategy. You learned when not to act. That restraint multiplied impact. Why your life feels stripped but clear. Excess fell away. Illusions dissolved. What remained was essential. Clarity thrives in simplicity. The discernment you developed through pain. You learned what drains you. You learned what restores you. Pain educated awareness. Wisdom followed experience. Why you feel called to protect your inner world. Not everything deserves access. Sacred space requires guarding. You became selective without guilt. Protection became self-love. The moment you stopped CHASING alignment, you embodied it instead. Action followed clarity. Effort softened. Flow replaced force. Why you no longer feel small. You recognize your impact. Not through noise but presence. Your existence influences subtly. That realization grounded you. The way you handle uncertainty now. You do not panic. You observe. You trust unfolding. Uncertainty became spacious, not threatening. Why you notice energy before words. Tone speaks louder than language. Intention reveals itself quickly. You listen beneath speech. Awareness reads truth instantly. The self-trust that stabilized everything. You keep promises to yourself. You honor inner signals. Confidence became quiet certainty. Self-trust anchored your path. Why you no longer seek escape. Presence feels enough. Distraction lost appeal. You sit with reality. Peace replaced avoidance. The feeling that something is approaching. Not fear, not excitement. Readiness. You sense alignment drawing nearer. You remain grounded as it approaches. Why you are still being shaped. Growth did not end with awareness. Integration continues daily. You refine through living. Becoming is still unfolding, the distance that grew without intent. You did not push anyone away. You simply stopped shrinking. Distance formed naturally. Alignment rearranged proximity. Why you no longer rescue others. You learn the cost of interference. Growth requires choice. You offer presence, not saving. Respect replaced overgiving. The inner order that calmed your nervous system. Chaos no longer ruled your reactions. Regulation became instinct. You breathed before responding. Your body learned safety through awareness. Why you feel out of place in old roles. They were built for earlier versions. Your awareness outgrew the script. Staying felt dishonest. Leaving felt inevitable. The moment you accepted not everyone will come. Some paths diverge permanently. No villain, no betrayal. Just different assignments. Acceptance softened separation. Why your words carry weight now. You speak less. Intention sharpens language. Truth lands deeper. Silence trained precision. The shift from seeking to reshaped. You stopped hunting answers. You recognized them on arrival. Discernment matured. Truth announces itself quietly. Why you notice small, misalignments quickly. Tolerance narrowed. Integrity sharpened perception. Subtle discomfort signals correction. You adjust early now. The stability you built through routine. Simple practices grounded you. Consistency calmed the mind. Discipline protected clarity. Routine became ritual. Why you no longer fear change. You learned impermanence firsthand. Flexibility replaced attachment. Change feels navigable. Adaptation became skill. The way you hold space without fixing. You listen fully. You do not rush resolution. Presence does the work. Others feel safe unfolding. Why your inner critic grew quieter. You stopped weaponizing awareness. Compassion balanced discipline. Growth softened judgment. Acceptance accelerated progress. The respect you have for process. You no longer skip steps. You honor sequencing. Foundations matter. Process protects outcome. Why you trust subtle confirmations. Small signs feel sufficient. You do not need spectacle. Consistency proves alignment. Quiet confirmations carry truth. The moment you realized control was an illusion. Effort could not force timing. Surrender revealed flow. Control relaxed its grip. Trust took its place. Why you keep your circle small. Resonance matters. Noise dilutes clarity. Depth requires selectivity. Quality replaced quantity. The way you move through doubt now. You do not fight it. You observe its message. Doubt informs refinement. Clarity follows curiosity. Why your humility feels grounded. Awareness did not elevate ego. It expanded responsibility. You stayed human. Grounding preserved balance. The internal alignment that guides action. You act when centered. You pause when unclear. Timing improved outcomes. Alignment directs effort. Why you no longer borrow identity. Trends lost influence. Labels felt restrictive. You stand as yourself. Authenticity stabilized direction. The comfort you found in not knowing. Mystery no longer threatens. Curiosity replaced fear. Uncertainty feels alive. Openness sustains growth. Why your presence feels anchored. You arrived in your body. Attention settled. Grounding deepened awareness. Stability radiates quietly. The way you integrate lessons quickly. Reflection shortened cycles. Honesty sped learning. You course correct early. Integration became fluid. Why you feel prepared without a script. Skill replaced planning. Awareness replaced prediction. You respond in real time. Readiness lives within you. The sense of continuity you feel. Past aligns with present. Fragments reunite. Identity stabilizes. Wholeness replaces seeking. The moment you realize you can no longer turn back. There is no return to who you were. Not because you are forbidden, but because you are aware. Awareness closes old doors permanently. Why your soul feels loud right now. It has been patient long enough. It is done whispering. The pull you feel is alignment demanding action. Delay now feels heavier than risk. The cost of ignoring what you know. You have tried distraction. You have tried silence. But misalignment always collects interest. What you know will not let you rest. Why this message is a line in the sand. This is not information. It is activation. Something in you is being asked to rise. Neutrality is no longer an option. The power that returns when you commit. Energy stabilizes. Clarity sharpens. Fear loses leverage. Commitment unlocks momentum. Why you were never meant to walk quietly. Not loudly, but clearly. Your life is meant to signal truth. Even when you say nothing. The responsibility of seeing this far. You cannot pretend anymore. You cannot unknow this moment. What you do next matters. Not just for you. The decision that changes everything. Not someday. Now. To live aligned even when it costs. Especially when it costs. If this message shook something awake in you, do not ignore it. Stand with your knowing. Like this video, so this truth reaches those who are still questioning themselves. Comment with one word that describes what you felt while listening. Subscribe to Return to Awakening and commit to walking this path consciously, unapologetically, and fully awake.